Have you ever promised yourself, tomorrow I'll wake up early, and then tomorrow comes, and you don't? You set the alarm for 5 o'clock a.m. You imagine a new version of yourself, focused, disciplined, successful. But when that alarm rings, your hand reaches out, half asleep, and hits snooze. 10 minutes become 30. 30 become hours. And suddenly it's another day gone. You feel guilty, you feel weak, and worst of all, you feel stuck. You start telling yourself lies that sound like truth. I'm not a morning person. I work better at night. I'll start when life slows down. But what if I told you your life is not stuck because of bad luck, bad education, or bad circumstances? What if the real reason is that you keep giving your best hours to sleep and your worst hours to your dreams? Stay with me to the end of this story, because this is not just about waking up early. This is about how one man stole time back from his life and used it to rewrite his destiny. His name was Ethan. Ethan was 34 years old, and his life felt like a broken record. Every day looked the same. Every week felt identical. Every year passed faster than the last. He worked as a delivery coordinator for a logistics company. Not a terrible job, not a great one either. Long hours, low pay, no growth. He lived alone in a rented studio apartment. No decorations, no memories on the walls, just silence and regret. Every morning, Ethan woke up at 8:30 a.m., already late, already stressed. He rushed through traffic with coffee in one hand, scrolling through social media while stopped at red lights, watching other people live lives he wanted. Entrepreneurs, fitness influencers, people traveling, people building something meaningful. At night, he told himself, tomorrow, I'll wake up early and start changing. Tomorrow never came. One night, while lying in bed with his phone glowing above his face, Ethan saw a post that hit him differently. It said, if you don't control your mornings, someone else will control your life. He laughed it off at first. Motivational nonsense, he thought. But the words stayed. The next morning, stuck in traffic and late again, he looked around at tired faces, rushing to jobs they hated, lives on autopilot, and a terrifying thought entered his mind. What if this is it? What if 10 years from now, nothing changes? That night, he called his father. His father had once been a factory worker who dreamed big but lived small. Dad, Ethan asked quietly, do you ever regret not chasing more? There was a long silence, and then his father said, every day. Ethan couldn't sleep that night. A week later, something unexpected happened. Ethan missed his usual bus and had to take an earlier one at 5:30 a.m. The city felt different. No traffic. No noise. Streetlights glowing. A few runners. A few coffee shops opening. People who looked calm, focused, intentional. One man caught Ethan's attention. He was sitting by the window, reading a notebook, not scrolling on a phone. Relaxed, sharp, in control. Ethan finally asked, sorry, why are you up this early? The man smiled and said, because this is the only time of day that belongs to me. That sentence hit Ethan harder than any motivational quote ever had. The man introduced himself as Lucas, a software consultant who wasn't rich but was free. His secret wasn't talent, it was his mornings. Lucas explained something Ethan had never considered. Most people live their lives reacting emails, bosses, deadlines, noise. But between 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock a.m., the world is quiet. No one needs anything from you. No one interrupts you. That's when you build the life you want. Ethan asked the obvious question, but I'm exhausted in the morning. Lucas nodded. Everyone is at first. Discipline feels like punishment until it becomes freedom. Before getting off the bus, Lucas handed Ethan a piece of paper. On it were 3 lines. Wake up at 5 a.m. Learn one valuable skill. Do it for 90 days. Try it, Lucas said. Not forever. Just 90 days. That night, Ethan set his alarm. Las 5 alto m. He felt motivated, hopeful, ready. The alarm rang. He turned it off and went back to sleep. He woke up at 8:47 a.m., angry at himself, but something was different this time. Instead of quitting, he reset the alarm. Day 2, he woke up barely. His body screamed. His mind begged him to stop. He sat at his kitchen table half asleep, watching beginner coding tutorials. Nothing made sense, but the first week was brutal. No energy, no motivation, just discipline. He stopped watching Netflix, stopped scrolling at night, started sleeping earlier. Friends laughed at him. Why are you acting like a monk? You're not a CEO. Ethan didn't argue. He was too busy fighting himself. Around day 18, something strange happened. He woke up before his alarm. His mind felt clearer. His body felt lighter. Those quiet mornings became addictive. While the city slept, he was building skills, learning, practicing, growing. He chose data analysis, a skill every company needed. Every morning, 1 hour learning, 1 hour exercising, and planning. No excuses. After 1 month, Ethan noticed changes, not externally, but internally. He spoke with confidence, thought clearly, stopped procrastinating. By month 2, he completed multiple certifications. He started applying what he learned at work, automating reports, improving processes. Managers noticed. By month 3, he wasn't the same person. He didn't just wake up early. He owned his mornings. One afternoon, Ethan was called into a meeting. His manager looked at him and said, "We're creating a new role. We need someone proactive, analytical, reliable. We think you're the right fit. Higher salary, better hours, more responsibility." Ethan walked out of that office, shaking. Not from fear, but from pride. 1 year later, Ethan wasn't just successful, he was intentional. He had savings, goals, direction, and every morning at 5 a.m., he still woke up. Not because he had to, but because that's where his power lived. Let me be honest with you. Waking up at 5 o'clock a.m. won't magically make you rich, but it will make you dangerous. Dangerous to excuses, dangerous to procrastination, dangerous to the life that's been holding you hostage. When you win the morning, you stop reacting to life and start designing it. So here's your challenge. Tonight, not tomorrow. Set your alarm for 5 o'clock a.m. Put your phone far from your bed. Decide one skill you'll work on and commit to 90 days. If you're serious, hit the like button right now. Comment below, "I'm waking up at 5 a.m. and tell me what you'll build in your first hour. Subscribe to this channel, because every week I bring you stories that Dante Hus Motivate, they transform. Your future is awake at 5 o'clock a.m. The only question is, will you meet it? You might think Ethan's story ended the day he got promoted. A better salary, better hours, respect. But real transformation doesn't end when life gets comfortable. That's when the real test begins. Because success doesn't destroy people. Comfort does. For the first few months, everything felt unreal. Ethan now woke up at 5 o'clock a.m., not to escape poverty, but to protect momentum. His mornings were still quiet, still disciplined. He learned advanced tools, read books on finance, strategy, leadership, but something subtle started to happen. People began to praise him. "You're talented, you're smart, you're lucky you got noticed." And without realizing it, Ethan started believing a dangerous lie that he had already arrived. One morning, his alarm rang at 5 a.m., and for the first time in a year, he didn't jump out of bed. He thought, "I deserve rest." He slept until 6. The next day, 6:30. A week later, his mornings were gone. Not suddenly, but slowly. And that's how most people lose their edge. Not in one big failure, but in small compromises. At work, new challenges appeared. More responsibility, more pressure meetings, deadlines. People relying on him. The job that once felt like a dream now felt heavy. He stopped learning, stopped planning, stopped protecting his mornings. And the old feeling crept back in stress, fatigue, that quiet fear of losing control. One evening, Ethan found himself scrolling endlessly on his phone. Long past midnight, he caught his reflection in the dark screen and froze. He looked tired again, not physically, mentally. And that scared him more than being broke ever did. That night, he couldn't sleep. He remembered a sentence Lucas had once said on that early morning bus. Discipline feels like punishment until it becomes freedom. And freedom disappears the moment you stop respecting discipline. Ethan realized something painful. Waking up at 5 o'clock a.m. hadn't changed his life. Protecting that habit had. The next morning, the alarm rang. Las 5 alto m. His body resisted. His mind argued, "You don't need this anymore." But Ethan sat up anyway. The room was silent. The city still asleep. And in that silence, he felt something he hadn't felt in weeks: clarity. That morning, he didn't open a course. He didn't exercise. Justo wrote. He wrote about where he came from, about who he almost became again, about the version of himself that hit snooze and slowly gives life back to media. And he made a rule for himself. Never let success steal the habits that created it. From that day on, Ethan upgraded his mornings. Not harder, smarter. 1 hour was now for growth beyond his job. Business models, investments, communication, leadership. The second hour was for his body and mind. Walking, thinking, planning. His mornings weren't just about survival anymore. They were about expansion. Something else changed too. People began coming to him for advice. Co-workers, friends, even strangers online after he shared his routine. "How do you stay consistent?" they ask. Ethan's answer surprised them. "I don't rely on motivation. I rely on identity. I'm the kind of person who wakes up early. That's just who I am." 2 years later, Ethan no longer worked only for a salary. He consulted on the side, built systems, created income streams that didn't depend on overtime or approval. He wasn't chasing money. He was designing freedom, and every major decision in his life was made before 7 a.m., while the world slept. One morning, sitting by the same bus stop where everything once began, Ethan saw a younger man pacing nervously, checking his phone. Tired eyes, heavy shoulders, a familiar look. Ethan smiled and asked, "Rough mornings?" The man laughed weakly. "Every morning." Ethan nodded. "Try waking up at 5 o'clock a.m. The man smiled politely, unconvinced. Ethan didn't argue. He simply said, "Not forever. Just long enough to meet the person you're capable of becoming." That's the part no one tells you. The early morning isn't about productivity. It's about identity, about choosing every single day to be the driver of your life instead of a passenger. Most people wait for life to change before they change. A few change first, and life follows. So if you're watching this and thinking, "I'll start someday," hear this clearly. Someday is not on the calendar. The only moment that matters is the next alarm you set, because the future doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives quietly, one morning at a time. If part 1 was about waking up early to escape a bad life, part 2 is about waking up early to protect a good one. Because discipline doesn't end when you succeed. That's when it matters most. Now let me ask you something. Not tomorrow, not next week, tonight. Will you choose comfort, or will you choose control? Will you hit snooze and stay the same, or will you wake up and build again? If you're ready to protect your mornings like your future depends on it, because it does, hit the like button right now. Comment below, I choose discipline. And if you want part 3, where I show how early mornings build long-term wealth, power, and freedom, subscribe to this channel. Your alarm clock isn't your enemy. It's an invitation. Te cuestiones. Will you accept it tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.?